Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Ultimate Apocalypse casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today I've got a 4 versus 4 on Oasis of Shar. Playing on the Southern team as the Imperial Guard, we've got Grid Panther, we've got Stranger as the Orks, we've got Yharnam Hunter as the Tau Empire, and we've got on a permanent break as the Chaos Space Marines. On the northern side of things, we have got AR Sanguinary Priest Vex as the Chaos Space Marines, we've got Blue Man 52 as the Inquisition Demon Hunters, we've got Tiger Shark as the Space Marines, and we have got Vrax as the Orks. So here we are on Oasis of Shar. Lots of contested bits and bobs in the middle. Currently on the northern side we have got the Chaos Space Marines and Imperial Guard vying for control over the relics in the centre here. I imagine it's probably just going to be chaff being in front of each other. What are you going for? You're going for conscripts. Yeah, a couple of conscripts. And what are you going to go for? A couple of Chaos Space Marines. Alright, okay, so maybe less chaff over on the northern side, but still, there's going to be lots of dead conscripts, I imagine, from the Imperial Guard's perspective. Orks and Tau maybe working together to take on in the middle. Slugger Boys already moving into the centre with some scholars coming from the Inquisition. So sometimes you'll see the Inquisition maybe lay back a little bit and get their economy on the go, but it does look like they're actually going to be quite aggressive in this early game, sending some of the Stormtroopers over to maybe show away these Slugger Boys. And over on this side, well, it's just Orks versus, who are you? Versus Chaos Space Marines. So it's just a grand old time for both teams, isn't it? Orks love a scrap, Chaos love a scrap. Although we do have some Tau coming over here, so maybe they're not going to be focusing too much on the centre. So which is wonderful against close combat units with their knockback. So it does look like they've got like a bit of like a water gun effect kind of thing going on. Going to equip themselves with their katana, samurai sword. I'm not a weeb, I do apologise, but they've got some sort of stabby thing, which is quite cool. Second squad of Breach is going to come over, as well as some Chaos Space Marines to get them sorted. Grot's going to try and see if they can sort things out. We do have the Slugger Boys chasing around the Stormtroopers, but a squad of scholars, God, that was hard to say, but 2 squads of scholars in fact, coming around with their magical shields, and seeing what they can do. Although listing post over here might make it a little bit more difficult for them. A minefield over here being spotted by the Ordo Malia Supreme Lord, and this poor archivist, all he wanted to do was read a book, or maybe even write a book. Ah, now he survived? No? Are you going to survive? Run away! Oh dear. That's a sad time. That's a sad time for your local library. Minefield is doing a good job against all these Stormtroopers and a significant amount of Orks being placed down over here. Speaking of significant amount, we have got Imperial Guardsmen Riders as well as all the conscripts you could possibly want or need. Double commissars in their ranks as well to make sure that they're all staying motivated. And even the mighty Chaos Space Marines are... What was that? Does someone have grenades? Maybe. I don't know. Either way, this poor lad, he's trying to escape as best he can, running to his cultist friends for some aid to maybe screen those horses away, but no, they're going to continue chasing after him. It's going to meet a very, very dire end. Like I say, meat grinder at the moment. Lots of dead conscripts, I imagine, by the end of this skirmish. Over back on the southern side, we do have some green Space Marines working with the green Orks. Assault Marines leading the way in. Double Shooter Boys on the backlines. That's it. Double. Do you have a jetpack on? You don't have a jetpack. Did you just decide to just jump really high then? Maybe. Either way. God, there's so many visual things that are not working in my favour today. Anyway, Commander firing at the Shooter Boys, sending them away. Shooter Boys over here, engaging these breaches in melee. The breaches don't mind being in melee. They do a fairly decent amount of damage, but they would much rather be using their shotguns. It does look like that the Orca Space Marine advance is being at least stemmed a little bit. Still a little bit of risk going on. Over on this side, in the words of Marilyn Manson, it's an obscene mob scene. There's so many people that they can't even get to make close combat attacks. There's no room for them, is there? A ball of madness and mayhem, and then they break up just for a little bit of a breather, I imagine, just to relax. Look at all that lasagna on the floor there. That is not a pretty situation. On the southern side, the Orks and the Space Marines are continuing to push in. These breaches don't seem to be doing all that much. To be honest, I was kind of singing their praise earlier on, but they're kind of a little bit lackluster in the DPS department if they can't quite take on these Assault Marines. But in saying that, Assault Marines do have just a redonkulous amount of health for what they are. But the Orks have managed to at least capture one of these strategic points. We'll soon be going for a relic if these guys have anything to not say about it. Imperial Guard also capturing the lion's share of the points over here. But the centre being captured by the Demon Hunters, which is not a pretty sight if you're on the southern team, as the Demon Hunters have got quite a nasty mid-game if they've got a good econ in the early game. Able to deep strike lots of bits and bobs around on the map. On a map as wide as this, you know, I mean, you could basically support whatever frontline they want just by throwing a couple of Dreadnoughts in there. Or Grey Knights, or whatever they fancy, really. The sky's the limit when you're playing Demon Hunters. Got a solid line of scholars ready to educate the local conscripts, give them the Imperial Guardsman's primer. Supreme Lord in that squad of scholars as well, for bashing reasons. He's got his plasma pistol, so he'll do extra damage against heavy infantry, and, well, just regular infantry, I suppose. Conscripts have been spread out so they can keep their firing line on the go. But a mighty thin line. When these grenade launchers come online, thankfully the conscripts have got an amazing reinforcement rate. Let me click on one of you. Stop dying for 5 seconds, please. Hold on. It's a game of whack-a-mole at the moment. There we go. Well done, mate. Yeah, you're regular guardsmen. Oh, well, that was a waste of time. Either way, today's cast is just all over the shop. I do apologise. I'm remarkably hungover. But the work must continue, boys and girls. The work must continue. The cast can't stop. Not on a hallowed day like this. Anyway, on a permanent break is not having the best times, let's be honest. He's struggling a little bit with Tiger Shark and Vrax coming along here. We have a lot of Tau stuff going on. We've got some Pathfinders armed with their rail rifles. Quite strong ranged weapons. Also got some Fire Warriors as well. It might have made more sense if the Chaos Space Marines focused on providing that front line with their cultists and other bits and bobs, and then the Tau used their long-ranged do-free-doodads to shoot things with. If they were planning to work together, that might have been the way forward, but hindsight is 2020, as they say. There doesn't seem to be any major anti-building weaponry on these guys anyway, so this should be alright. This should be alright. Over here, got a bit of a last stand going on. Baleful glare on these cultists and for their grenade launchers. Shooter boys over here, they've got their big shooters. They might be able to break out of, actually, if they can get some good shots in. Wonderful concave, but not working in their advantage this time, as they are being taken out one cultist at a time, more or less. And a nice breakout from Stranger here. Not sure where the scholars went. Probably went back home to read a book, maybe. Ted Priest Engines here coming out to see if he can maybe build some stuff. Relic still yet to be captured, but it does take a while to capture a relic, in all fairness. Got a grenade in front of those breaches. A little bit cheeky, but we'll take it. And the firing line for the Tau is amassing into a good amount, I reckon. Submarines quite low on numbers at the moment, though they do manage to get... Or they're on the way to get an extra boy. Where's the commander gone? Have you died? Hold on, let me swap to the boys. Yep, the commander has died. Oh, could go gonna pop a burner bomb in the middle of these Fire Warriors. Gonna have to run away as quick as they can. Got a couple of lads, Pathfinders, being moved into the centre of this firing mass. It's not where they want to be. Losing a rail rifle, in fact, probably going to lose that entire squad if they aren't careful. Shooter boys over here, now only just getting their big shooter, so Vrax a little bit behind in tech. There has been a lot more aggressive in this early game. More stuff over here is being destroyed. We've got some Raptors coming over for on a permanent break, and a Devilfish troop carrier. So that should be able to help them. As like I said, they've got no anti-vehicle stuff. They can... I think Tiger Shark's got the tech for it, but he has already got a heavy bolter, so he'll need to wait for that dude to die before he gets anything else. He's researched a heavy weapons upgrade, so actually could probably go for a missile launcher should he choose. Which is fair enough, man. Fair enough. Some Devastators coming in. And on a permanent break, really holding on here. He's doing everything he can. He's got a heavy bottle turret being built up on the backside. He's summoning in more Raptors, I imagine. Every moment that he can claw on is good enough for us. As I mean, realistically, I mean, these guys, they're going to come in the centre. They're going to be bashing stuff around. They've held this line over here. In fact, we're going to have a field commander over here, so it'll be really difficult for the northern team to take on that relic now. So if you could just weather this storm, the southern team should be in a relatively okay position. Northern team still got that edge since they've captured this centre point a little bit longer, but it's not the end of the world, man. It's all about holding on for a hero. And in this case, the hero is Yharnam. He's coming in with his piranha skimmers, focusing down these tactical marines as quick as possible. And with this crossfire going on, he is going to finally force these guys back out of the base, giving Permanent Break a little bit of a relaxation. Where are you off, Mr. Devilfish Troop Carrier? Feel loud noises and speedy jets. Orks over here taking out these Icon of Purifications one at a time. Lovely to see actual mech traps being used to prevent any streaming chimeras coming in. It's got a Bad Doc on the way. Bad Doc is, I do believe that's in the Ork department. They're able to choose a clan, and one of the clans is the Bad Doc, which allows you to get like a special doctor out. You can only have one there, and it increases your population cap by, oh god, 50%. I can't bloody remember, but it's good. It's a good thing. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the economies while things are nice and cush. 203 and 66, 134 and 119, 109 and 90, and 45 and 0, compared to 125 and 79, 175 and 219, 123 and 60, and 179 and 40. So significant economic advantage for the northern team, especially with the Inquisition Demon Hunters. Is that just a sound that's how vehicles make when they jump about? That's very loud. I'll have to turn it down in post, but you know, it's not great. Grot Gang, there we go, coming out of there. Cart guns with zaps on them. Excellent stuff, that's what you want to see. Grot Gang for life, baby. Also, lots of shooter boys coming in. So these guys just basically circumvented the front lines of these guys and decided just to go straight into the base, which is what you gotta love to see. But they both go down, and at least buys the southern team a little bit of breathing space, not to have those guys breathing down their necks at all times. Lots of minefields coming on. And I mean, why not? You've held this part. You've done your job, Grid Panther. You just need to hold the line now and wait for your other guys to maybe contend and hold these centre bits. That's a lot of grots. That's a lot of, what are you called? A lot of gun carts with zaps on them, which are great against, what are you? You're great against vehicles and stuff, aren't you? So those Devilfish Troop Carriers, once they're spotted, they'll be zapped to all high heavens, but you need to zap them first, or see them first, sorry. Orks are going to be pushing in over here in the central point. We do have a significant amount of firepower coming in. Some Grey Knight strike teams being deep stricken in, I imagine, for teleporting around, cutting off the retreat path. Blue Flame scorching all these Orks, killing them quite quickly. Some of them, I think, have jumped inside the listing post to maybe save themselves from fate worse than death. Some assault marines as well joining in this centre party for fun. But we do have a contingency of chimeras just rolling in, coming in to do the bad damage. Big mech teleports in to the supporting ranged fire of the chimeras. The Devastate Marines going for their multi-melters. Be a very difficult thing for these guys to get out. Might need to just piece out A-Town as quick as you can. Save some of that requisition for a later fight. Grey Knight's coming over here. Yharnam's looking a little bit exposed. But the Orks are being held back. Permanent Break with his Chaos Lord and his Raptors, keeping these guys busy. Grots having their morale broken. Don't do much damage when the morale's broken. But that's the way of the Grots, I suppose. Not the bravest of lads, but they do try. The centre has been swapped over. The Orks look like they're going to lose all their gubbins in the centre. Grey Knight's now just coming in and seeing what they can bash about. Lots of plasma generators. I do like how Yharnam's spread out his plasma generators. He's still put them next to his buildings and stuff. But quite often you'll see players put all the plasma generators in one area. And then obviously, like, if you destroy a couple of them, they destroy all of them with that chain reaction explosion. But no, he's making them work for it. We've got a broadside battlesuit chilling out over here, firing away with his rail guns. making very quick work of these Grey Knight strike teams. But that's fine, I mean, because it doesn't matter if they kill them particularly quickly, because these guys have just got, like, the economy for days, haven't they? They can basically just spam out whatever units they want, and it'll be no problem for them whatsoever. Imperial conscripts skipping over their own mines. With some... Oh, you've got renegades. That's cool. Haven't seen renegades for a little while. Like... Oh, what are they called? They're like the airborne troopers for the Imperial Guard. They've just got, like, those Splinter Cell masks on the go. Just quite fun. They're going to come in. Lots of chaff, lots of fodder. And the Imperial Guard must hold this line. They have got their weapons teams. They have got their turret emplacements. They've got their special weapons teams as well. These guys can spot the minefield, so they need to cut through all this stuff before they can advance forward. Look at the range on those grenade launchers. Really useful. But have you got a mortar team in there somewhere? Yeah, you've got mortars. Okay. Nice one. Imperial Guard, more or less defenseless at this point. Unable to really get in range to do anything. They've kind of just got to sit back and just take the pounding. That's a coming. Over on the southern side, we have got the Orks, well, the Northern Orks, just strolling in. We've got commanders with what are you armed with? Some flamers. And a quadruple big shooters. A lot of pressure being put on Yarnum, bless him. Leave my boy alone, he's only trying his best. Stock AA coming in. Lots of shooting power on that. And we've got... Have you managed to get your stuff back up online? You're getting there. Still providing a little bit of flanking stuff going on, but we've got big push in the centre here. Strangers Orcs coming in, having a look at Tiger Sharks, firing line, double Devastators, and a Tactical Marine Squad as well, now to be supported by Grey Knight Pegasus. That is a unit composition that will be able to smash through most things, in all honesty. Storm Boys chasing around these Chaos Space Marines. We don't have a big boomer coming on. Maybe potentially getting outweigh this Path of Enlightenment. Doing a lot of damage to the big mech, but he'll take it. Got a lot of health. He's now going to teleport. Well, actually, this is Orc and Orc action. Strange Orc's now coming down. He's decided that the middle ground is not worth losing an ally. He's also got triple looted tanks. We've got quadruple looted tanks now coming in. Lots of firing support. Grey Knight's now coming in to add to the melee, and this is just absolute chaos. Sky Missile gunship firing some bloofers over there. More looted tanks coming in hot. Grey Knight Pegasus are going to fall quite quickly. Over on this side, we'd have a field command and a certain placement. Yeah, the guard have decided that they are not moving 1 inch. This is their land. This is their little corridor, and no amount of renegades with their mortars are going to tell them anything. One load of Grey Knight. He's still there. Oh, maybe. Is he? Almost been taken out by a stray Skyray missile gunship. And now they're going to be advancing over onto this side. Vrax's potentially going to be losing his structures as well as the centre point here. Well, the Northern team doing a really good job at just constantly keeping this point in the middle golden. Obviously, you get the same amount of strategic points in the centre if you've... instead of like having the 2 here and 2 here. You only really lose out on 1 relic. So it's not a major problem for the Northern team. They're still lacking that 1 relic. Might hurt them later on. Do remember as well that in Ultimate Apocalypse, you've got your relic resource over here. It's not like as if you need a relic to get your relic units out. It's just that you've got that resource. Not sure if the Orcs vibe with that there. I'll have to ask people later on, but we'll keep an eye on Yarnum for a bit, shall we? Make sure he's doing alright after that exchange of fire from just before now. Got a weird boy for Vrax. And, I mean, what's he going to do? That's the question, is giving an emotional speech to the tank busters. But they're going to need a lot of tank busting if they're going to break this line over here. Down this side, we do have the Tactical Marines and Devastators. They've seen all the tanks come up on that side, so they will decide to do a little bit of a push. On this side, the concave of all concaves, firing away at these guys, but they'll just beat them back, baby. No pressure whatsoever. Might even go on the offensive themselves. Oh, no, never mind. No, they've done the job, and now they will fall back. Lots of Orks in here. They're now being surrounded by... How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dreadnoughts of the Purgation Assault variant. So he's going to waddle in, sword in hand, melter guns on the other. And the big mech has already teleported in, so he ain't escaping anytime soon. Lurid tanks, obviously, they can't teleport. That'd be too much. So they're going to be sliced and diced, but maybe they could do a little bit of damage. They could kill some war banners or do something like that, because if you kill these assault dreadnoughts, they're only going to rebuild them in about 5 minutes' time. But he's not. He's gonna decide. You know what? You dreadnoughts, leave me alone. Oh no, right, okay. You are going to do some economic damage. Good man. Good man. One of Tiger Shark's dreadnoughts is going to just kind of a leisurely stroll. He's firing into the bushes. He's saying, "Screw you, nature. Mother Nature, you absolute turd. Get out my back garden." And the Orks en masse just going for those war banners. And one thing about Ultimate Apocalypse is that when you build the war banners, the more you build, the more expensive they get. And so obviously you don't want to build too many, so you want to upgrade them. And when you upgrade them, they give you more Ork population. But it also makes it more devastating when you lose them if you've upgraded those war banners. Orks now being chased around on all sides, going to just meander past these devastators. But the flash kits, they're alright. That bad doc is keeping a lot of people alive with that incredible regeneration he can bring to the field. But they have managed to hold firm on this side as the Orks go back home. Do have some Shasphere elites over here. Got some Lurid tanks guarding the centre point here. It seems like every time we look at the north, the Imperial Guard emplacement just gets more and more impressive. We've got Basilisks, we've got Lehman Russes. He's going for Industry Commands. Again, more mechanized. Yeah, it's just, you name it, he's going to go for it. But this is substantial fighting force coming over. It's not something you'd like to see if you was, what's your face, on a permanent break. He's managed to get the machine cut out. He's also got a couple of Havoc Marines, but not much in the way of anything substantial. Really taking an economic beating earlier on. Also, Yarnum, very cheeky, taking one of his listing posts. But I mean, I imagine they probably had a discussion about it. Probably gave him it in a kind manner. Got dudes teleporting in. Purgation, assault dreadnoughts, pressuring these guys backwards. Repositioning flash kits everywhere, and it's a game of hopscotch at this point. Everyone's trying to get the most superior firing arc humanly possible. These Grey Knight Purgators being killed quite quickly, actually, being focus fired down. Chaos Space Marines, they're in there. They're contributing something, which is nice. Also, these sentry turrets getting a few licks in there. Purgation Dreadnoughts being summoned in the middle. That's not where the flash kits want them to be. In melee, the flash kits do not want to be. But they'll... And they've also used their teleport as well, so they're not quite able to reposition themselves, I imagine. Devastating Marines, unmolested, able to just stand there and fire for as long as they want. On the Southern team, they don't really seem to have much of a melee squad of their own. The Northern team seem to have the ranged option and the melee, whereas the Southern team only really have to have the ranged stuff going on. So that might be doing them some badness, but on the Northern side, we do have Imperial Guard now pushing out the Renegades of Chaos, unable to hold up against the meaty wall that is the conscripts. Although Chaos Disco going on. Got some more Ironclad Dreadnoughts being teleported in. Heavy weapon support squad over here will make a short work of it, but there's a lot of things going on. Mortar team for the Renegades firing away. Over on this side, it does seem that the Northern team have broken that firing line. Like I say, that combination of ranged support and close combat alternatives are working in their advantage. A slow grind down. Shasphere elites continuing to fire away. Very slow firing rate by the looks of things. But when they hit, they do pack a punch. Got one single Havoc Marine over here, trying his best, bless him. He's not quite sure who he's firing at. But he'll be there, man. Stick him on the register. All the dreadnoughts now seem to have gone down. We do have some looted tanks rallying and moving forward. Although we did see the guidance beacon over here being lost for the tower, so a little bit of an economic... Sorry, not an economic, a tech setback. But that will mean that they will live to fight another day by the looks of things. Over here, Lehman Russ is just annihilating the economy of Sanguinary Priest Vex. Have all the conscripts died? It does look like all the conscripts have died, which is only right. It's the only correct thing to happen for the conscripts. We do have another Ironclad Dreadnought teleporting around the backside. Lehman Russes will turn around and all focus fire on him. One lowly priest coming in. He's not scared. He'll go hand-to-hand for Dreadnought. One Sternguard veteran trying to retreat from these flash gates. Lots of flash gates, actually. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Question mark? Where they throw a big war. Increasing the movement speed and overall attack rate, I do believe, but steel rain happening. Knocking these guys around. Shasphere elites. They want to get involved in close combat by the looks of things. We've got a war going on the... Are you the same people? You are the same war. Okay, fair enough. These guys are just going to try and ignore the dreadnoughts as best as possible and try and smash up as much of the infantry as they can. We've got some Terminators being summoned in. And it's just dreadnoughts. That's the plan. The northern side. I'm not sure if that's going to work at this point now. They've got we've got a significant amount of tank busters in the middle here. But what's the alternative? I mean, don't get me wrong, like the whole deep striking of stuff, that's quite good. But you also need that... I mean, these guys on their own won't do much. You need something like a general, like, firing line or combat line to push forward while the dreadnoughts are in the back, causing mischief and mayhem. That's me thinking anyway. Whether I'm right or wrong, that's up for you to decide. Maybe. But Chaos Vindicator, wonderful piece of kit this. Amazing at taking out large groups of lightly armoured infantry as well as heavy infantry. So good supporting vehicle. Got one Terminator here. Holding that line, baby. Who's been taken out. God bless his soul. And now the Orks advance. Triple looted tanks in a spearhead formation. Also going to see some movement on in the centre as well. This is looking a little bit grim for the northern team. The counter-offensive is online. Do have Vrax with his flash gates. He's kind of going for a bit of a mirror build at the moment. Predator Annihilator being zapped. Terminator's been jumped in. But against all those flash gates, they won't stand up all that well. But a lot of things have been teleported in. And the big mech will just teleport the whole group of flash gates away, making the flanking a little bit lackluster, but they'll still charge in, do what they can. And now with Stranger Stuff being separated from the main body of the group, they are able to be focus fired down by, well, these guys are able to be focus fired down by Vrax's flash gates. So Stranger having no support at the moment as he continues his way in. We have lots of renegades over here as well. Not sure how much they'll be able to contribute against the flash gates, but they are invisible and they have got very long range for their mortars. Or mortars, however one wants to pronounce it. So the combined arms of Dreadnought and Mortar. Those got some Terminators just peppering a little bit. But yeah, this is actually absolutely surrounded by, on all sides, by lots of bad stuff. Fingers crossed that the big mech has got his teleport back online. He's throwing down a burner bomb. Oh, this is Vrax's big mech. Okay, fair enough. That made sense. Well, if they're going to go down, they're going to go down in flames. Lots of flames coming on from the renegades over here. Even the Icon of Purification is getting some zaps in there. Ironclad Dreadnoughts and Terminators alike adding to the fire of the flash gates. There's nothing much that these guys can really do until that the big mech gets his teleport back up, but it might not be enough time. That is a lot of Orks dead. And those flash kit firing lines, man, when you're caught out of position, you can easily have an entire army just wiped if you've gone for an infantry-focused composition, which it seems... If they can get these lads over... I mean, these flash kits, if these guys come over here, as impressive as this firing line of conscripts are, but actually that's... Could the flash kits kill all these guys? I hope we find out. Let's go MSL gunship. Giving some warning shots, some warning bloofers. Saying stay away, you're not welcome in the centre. Even the Terminators aren't too pleased with the shots coming in. But Stingray gunship, quite a long-ranged beast. Don't normally see it go up against infantry, but he'll be happy to fire at whoever he can. This is intimidating, man. I'm not sure if my frame rate can handle this, but we'll definitely give it a go. We've got the Earthshaker platform. Wonderful placement, actually. Able to fire away over on this side. Got Chaos Discos everywhere. Able to spot and see what's going on from the Chaos perspective. Let's keep our eyes on the minimap for when they start charging. Lots of Grey Knight Terminators. Ready to cut and thrust. And oh, we've got the nuclear weapon center for Grid Panther. Oh god, yeah, my frame is not. I'm going to zoom in ever so slightly just to enjoy approaching 60 frames for a little while. Dreadnought leading the charge, but not surviving. Flash kits coming in. Got to be a bit wary about moving into this middle ground, as the flash kits like to stand as a big group and focus all together. But as they all move in, different speeds, different times, takes them a little while to set up that firing line, but they have managed to get some good shots in. Dreadnought's also helping spread out that fire, well, that incoming fire for them. Burner bombs just coming in left, right, and centre. Not sure who's firing in that. I'm glad Dreadnought's getting some spins to wins on that Stingray gunship. And oh, is this the boomy platform? Okay, fair enough. The boomy platform is the thing that's bringing out those mini nukes going on there. We also have the meanest teleporter bringing out a Daka Stomper. And we also have the ever bigger and meanest generator. Got a good firing line down. Well, when I say firing line, we've got a defensive wall as well as mines. So the southern team really saying, you know what, the right trench and the left trench are ours. I'm scared, man. Those are intimidating me somewhat. Daka Stomper coming in. Big guns. The Churd cannon firing away. Grey Knights are coming in, and they'll do their best, but not sure if what they're bringing to the table is going to tickle anyone's pickle. But yeah, that's just a massive dead on the floor there, isn't it? Oh, we've even got a Mako Titan. Look at him go. Those big green shiny bits and bobs. Very fancy. Over on this side, are we seeing a charge in? Here we go. The mass. The boys are out. The squad is out. Armed with 1,000 different flashlights. These renegades don't know what hit them, but they do have some Chaos Predators ready to mow these guys down. Armed with their bayonets, they might be able to do some good. He says... My favourite thing about conscript charges is that they always look really scary. But they just die so quickly. Like, look at that. There was how many of them? There was about, if you get like, what, say, like 13 a squad, maybe. There was about, what, 5 squads? That's 30 times 5. That's a number too big for me to count. And most of them are dead. But the Lehman Russes are there, man. They're doing stuff. The other Terminator's doing what they can as well. But yeah, no infiltration detection. I think that's what's maybe letting the guard down a bit on their charges. Oh, we've got a nuclear bomber. And Ah, and Stormblades. Yes, okay, fair enough. That'll do it. That'll do it for you. And here come the nukes. The economy of the Demon Hunters. Soon to be no more. That is quite a sad time. Everyone living in Demon Hunter land. And then the nuclear bomb will just bees back home. He's dropped his payload. He's done his task. He's completed his mission. But, I mean, all the buildings seem to be relatively okay. Probably need a couple of nuclear bombs or nuclear bombers to really have a good effect with that. They're holding on. They've got their Whirlwind Mark IIs. Wonderful artillery pieces, able to fire multiple different rockets. Oh, this is lots of fighter bombers. Oh, I thought you were nuclear bombers for a second then. Now, fighter bombers in this game, ridiculous firing rate. No amount of infantry can really stand up against them all that well, but I mean, Stormblades over here, quadruple Stormblades, because why drop one when we could drop 4? I suppose maybe that was what the conscripts were for, to bring out all the units for Sanguine Priest Vex, or Sanguinary Priest Vex, do apologise, over here. And when he was busy concentrating on the conscripts, he's brought out those guys round the backside. Daka Stomper waddling in. And I've actually 2 Daka Stompers, because why not? Go for an extra one. Treat yourself, man. Vrax is left. Blue Man 52 trying to rebuild all this stuff down over here, and it does not look like a pretty situation. Just a Great Wall of China. A tainted defense wall. Not sure what makes a wall tainted, but that's fine. So Lost Chaos player over here. And you know what? I'm going to call it for the Southern team. Really good back and forth there, has to be said. I do think that the Northern team had a wonderful idea with the whole, you know, big mass of infantry, charge them in, have the dreadnoughts dropping in around the back lines. Thought that worked really well until obviously they lost that main line there. The Imperial Guard, man, all in that line. They did not move. They were like, this is our land. And, oh, what are you? You are a Death Strike missile launcher. Let's see what this looks like. Wherever it lands, I assume it's going to land somewhere. Yeah, man. Look at that. Friends and allies alike. God blimey. Also, a nuclear bomb. In fact, 2 nuclear bombers in there going for it as well. What a lovely way to end the match. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, thanks for sending in the games, boys, and thanks for coming to Discords and Patrons and stuff. Like I said, I'm hungover. Good night, God bless. See you all in the future.